I don't know who's starting for the Browns. I don't like either of these quarterbacks, to be completely honest. And look, Gino had a couple nice years. He had the nice year in Seattle, but he's going to the Jets. It's a combination of Geno Smith and Jets. We've seen that story before. What was that, like 10, 13 years ago? I I have no faith. No faith whatsoever. Not going to waste a lot of breath on this category. Next category. I'm not buying them. I am not. Let me. All right, we know who the guys are. I'm not buying them. Look, it's a bunch of good backup quarterbacks and a couple guys who are starting that I just look. I don't think they're bad quarterbacks. I just don't trust them. I think once you get to this row and up, I think the quarterback play is so deep in the league. Maybe there's not the exceptional high end guys that there were maybe 3 4 years ago, even 5 years ago, or at least playing like it. But Kirk Cousins gonna be a solid backup as a starter. I'm not really sure anymore. He's okay. I don't trust the Falcons quarterback room. Malik Willis, his cupboard is bare in Miami. We know this. Jacoby Brissett, great backup. He's going to start for the Cardinals again. Who knows what they're going to be? Everyone thinks they're not going to be a good team. Bryce Young, that's where people are going to say, whoa, they made the playoffs last year. They made a good run. They did have a good run. They did. But if they were in any other division in the NFC, if they were in any other division in the NFC, are they a playoff team? Like, let's be real. They had a nice season. I was shocked that they even played the Rams that well in the playoff game. Granted, it was at home. They got a home playoff game. I don't. I think Bryce Young kind of comes back to earth, and uh, by the time I'm doing this video next year, it'll have probably a new starting quarterback, if I have to guess. If not, we'll have drafted a guy that's competing with him. So I'm not buying any of these guys as starters this year. Sneaky good season. Now people are gonna be like, "Oh, you put Bryce Young below some of these guys." Look, it's partial projection. All right, I know Cam Ward had a tough rookie season, but they got Dayball in there as the offensive coordinator. I think he's a decent offensive coordinator. They got, obviously Saleh, the main guy in charge, defensive guy. But I think just helping the defense is going to improve the way the offense is. They're going to, not going to be on the field. They're going to be on the field more and have more opportunities. Carnell Tate, like they got something working in Tennessee. I don't think it's playoffs, but sneaky good season maybe. Daniel Jones, sneaky in the way of like, can I find it? Can I find that good season? No, I know Jones had a good first half, and he got hurt. I don't like losing Michael Pittman. I don't. I know they just got Keenan Allen. Don't mind that. Solid move, but that older veteran is going to take away. Is he going to take away from the younger receiving core in Indy? I'm not really sure about it. I like Tyler Shuck. I do. I know I'm going backwards. I like Tyler Shuck. I think the Saints have a chance to sneak into the playoffs. And by sneak in, I mean they would probably have to win the division. They'd probably have to win their own division in that case. But, yeah. So, and then similar things with, not really similar, but Rodgers, I mean, can they get it? Can they sneak into the last playoff team in the AFC? Possibly. I still like Aaron. I think he's potentially a top half type quarterback, but he's gonna hover around that anywhere from 14 to 18 range, in my opinion. And Kyler Murray, kind of a question mark. I mean, he's trying to revitalize his career with Minnesota. They got weapons. They got Juwan Jennings now. They have pieces. Obviously, Justin Jefferson. They have the offense figured out. Can Kyler Murray figure out that offense? Maybe a sneaky good season, but one of the toughest divisions in football. Gonna be difficult. I need more. You're gonna probably notice there's a young guy. There's a couple young guys missing from this, but I need more from these guys. Not to say they won't be good quarterbacks or can't be good quarterbacks, but I need a little more. I know Bo Nix. It's tough in that system. Look, he struggled for like a lot of the first 3 quarters of the games, and then by the end of the game, he's the best quarterback in football. That's not gonna last every year. I need a little more. They got Jalen Waddle, very good move. Not saying he can't be top 10, because I feel like you'll notice like throughout the season, anywhere from like the 5th or 6th best quarterback to like 12th or 13th. I feel like it's so interchangeable. Like there's so much good quarterback play Not to say there's so much great, but there's so much good quarterback play that I think that can kind of flip. Like Jackson Dart, could he be a top 10 quarterback? If the Giants are fighting for a playoff spot, he's gonna be near it. He's gonna be a top half quarterback in this league. He's got a chance. Got to stay out of the tent. He got to stay out of the blue tent, but we'll see about him. With John Harbaugh now in charge, and Jane Daniels after that rookie year, injuries. That team's kind of old. He's talented, but he's very skinny. He's very. I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I said, I need a little more. Great season 2 years ago, but I need a little more. Next group. I still believe in these guys. A lot of people giving up on these quarterbacks. Maybe more so Stroud than Baker. But look, the Texans made the playoffs the last 3 years. They've won 10 games. I think 3 or 5 years in a row. They've been there. They've been there. I think 3 years in a row. CJ is the leader of that offense. All right, obviously the quarterback is, but if they have Davis Mills playing, they're middle of the pack. They are not sniffing playoffs. Like, let's be real. Stroud has the talent. He just has to keep it together, put it together. He's had a lot of injuries at wide receiver, still having them. Jaden Higgins out for the year. Is Tank Dell going to stay healthy this year? Nico got to stay on the field. They always have good tight end presence, I feel like. I still believe in CJ Stroud. I still do. And Baker, I like Baker a lot. I do. I've come around on Baker maybe like 5 years ago before he got to the Rams on that little stint. I wasn't a huge fan. I thought he was kind of getting hurt, a little too cocky, but he's coming to his own. I do like Baker a lot. He's honestly one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch because he's just a baller. You lose Mike Evans, Godwin's a year older. Obviously, you're getting Ibuka in his second year. Can he stay healthy? I know he's got like an ankle injury. Don't love that. But hey, if Baker can just stay healthy by the time December, January rolls around, the NFC, watch out. Just watch out. But again, not a team thing. I'm not a huge fan of the Bucs as a franchise. All right. Good but overrated. Jordan Love and Brock Purdy, both really good quarterbacks. One a first-round pick, one the last overall pick. I think Jordan Love was first round. Look, people have Jordan Love as a top 10 quarterback. I do not. I think he has good numbers. I think he is a really good quarterback. But top 10, borderline. I think he's just a bit overrated for what he is. Look, I know he had 4 touchdowns. Was it 4 touchdowns in that playoff game against Chicago? Chicago's defense was terrible last year. They were not good. They were not good. So Jordan Love, good player. They lose Romeo Doubs. They lose Dontavian Wicks. Thinning out on the wide receiver position. I like Matt Golden for a little bit, but is he a number 1 or number 2? I like Tucker Kraft too, but I don't know. And Purdy, look, that team is just so injury prone. Look, Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. I'm not lying on. I'm not trying to step on his name, but top 10. Mac Jones stepped in there, and they did all right. So, I'm not saying Mac Jones is better, but stability. Now we're getting into the meat of the league. I believe this is like just outside top 10. All these guys give their teams good stability. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott. If you have these guys playing at a really good to elite level, they're getting to the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, 13 wins last year. Jared Goff, they missed the playoffs last year. Had some, they rebounded him from that Ben Johnson stuff. I still think, he puts up numbers. Him and Dak are a bit similar. Put up numbers in the regular season, but once playoff comes around, it's hit or miss. Most misses, but hit or miss. And Justin Herbert, kind of similar thing. Big numbers guy. I'm a big numbers guy. But he's got a lot of talent, but can he put it together finally in the third year with Jim Harbaugh? Can he finally put it together, win 1 or 2 playoff games, make it known that the Chargers are a real contender? Can Mike McDaniel finally get the best out of Justin Herbert? They're all good quarterbacks. But, again, got to point out what we got to point out. Are one of these guys taking a top 5 spot? Look, you could have had May or Caleb down a little farther. I know you're like, oh, you're not gonna say you need more from them. This is projection again. I think that these guys are top 5-esque quarterbacks. Will they prove it this year? Drake May, obviously, second in MVP, got to the Super Bowl last year. Caleb Williams, won a playoff game on a Hail Mary. Got rid of some of those sacks. He's super talented. These guys are the 2 best, I think, in their draft class. Will they take a top 5 spot? I think they can. I do think they can. Time will tell. And then, we get up to the interesting category. Too much hate. These guys get too much hate. These are the last 2 Super Bowl champion quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold. Jalen Hurts is not like most quarterbacks in the league. He has had to deal with something that most quarterbacks don't deal with as much as he does. Getting new coordinator after new coordinator after new coordinator after new coordinator. And still gets to the playoffs, wins double digits every year. Yeah, you could say it's a team stat, fine. But he's the leader of that train. Look, losing A.J. Brown, we're going to see, I feel like, early how that's going to affect this team. Sean Mannion in the building now. We'll see. But I trust Jalen Hurts to be a top 5 quarterback. There is a chance that he's not. Like I said, anywhere from 5 to like 12, it's varied. I know they had Jalen Hurts as like 17th ranked, 18th ranked quarterback. Stop it. And Sam Darnold, look, a lot of turnovers in the regular season, but he came back and balled out. Didn't turn the ball over. Solid, good, really good season. 2 in a row, 14-win seasons. Recency bias, sure, but it's 2 years in a row. It's not just 1 year. It's 2 years in a row. Can Caleb Williams be better? Can Caleb Williams be better than Sam Darnold? Can Drake May be better than Jalen Hurts for 2 years in a row? Possibly. Then we're gonna adjust as we go. But for right now, Darnold and Hurts are above him. I almost blew it. I don't know what to do with these 2 guys. I don't know what to do with Burrow and Lamar. Prove that you're still top 5. Prove that you're still top 5. I mean, both guys missed the playoffs. The Bengals really, I feel like, are failing him, especially on defense. But he has the weapons. All you gotta do is sneak in the playoffs. The Bengals get in the playoffs, and they're a contender, but they're having a trouble time getting in the playoffs. But Burrow's super talented. This is the last year that Lamar and Burrow are like going to be considered top 5 if they don't make the playoffs, make some real noise. Burrow can put up numbers, but if they don't make the playoffs, people are going to start being like, well, is he going to get them over the top? I know it's a lot to ask for a quarterback. 22 guys on the field, I get it. They're still super talented, and they have had some postseason success, more than a Herbert, more than a Dak, but prove that you're still top 5. And then my last category, top category, up for grabs. I think the top quarterback in the National Football League is up for grabs. I think the top quarterback is up for grabs in the league. Matt Stafford, MVP. Pat Mahomes, a couple years in a row of just quarterback play. I know they got to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but just watch the games. You could say that you could say the numbers are fine, whatever, they're okay. He hasn't been the same guy. And he's coming off injury. Who knows? But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt for now because he's been so successful in the last decade, more so half decade. And Josh Allen, maybe the most talented quarterback in the sport. Most well-rounded, biggest quarterback athlete. But he makes dumb plays, man. He makes dumb mistakes still. Can he finally turn it around with Joe Brady? I thought last year was the year that they had to win. Because the AFC might be getting stronger. I think the league is just getting stronger and stronger, more deeper and deeper every single year. And it's going to be tough. Look, they got the Patriots, who obviously just got to the Super Bowl, with Drake May in his second year. Josh Allen never been to a Super Bowl. Can he do it? I think it's up for grabs. I think it is up for grabs for any of these guys to be considered the best quarterback